By the time he was 32, Alexander the Great had spent a full decade conquering the known world without losing a single battle. His preparation began early. Under the philosopher Aristotle, Alexander was trained to treat warfare as a logic puzzle, receiving intensive instruction in the politics and leadership required to manage an empire on the move. This math shows the results of that training. By 326 BCE, Alexander's territory stretched from the Greek mainland, Atlantic-Croatia, and Central Asia, finally stopping at the eastern edges of the Indus system. But at the Jhelum River, his momentum hit a geographic wall. It was the peak of the monsoon season, and the river had transformed into a surging, muddy torrent. Waiting on the opposite bank was King Porus, a powerful ruler of the Punjab, who had entrenched his massive defensive force behind the river's natural barrier. Porus's defense was anchored by a front line of war elephants. These armored, living weapons were entirely alien to the Macedonian soldiers and their horses. The tactical situation was grim. Attempting to ferry an army across deep, fast-moving water directly into a wall of tusks and entrenched spears was considered military suicide. Alexander knew he couldn't force a crossing, so he began a campaign of psychological exhaustion. Every night, he moved his troops along the bank, ordering them to shout and create a massive din. This nightly repetition gradually lulled the Indian forces into a false sense of security. Porus eventually became convinced these maneuvers were merely a loud bluff to keep his men awake. This diagram reveals Alexander's true maneuver. Under the cover of a storm, he took a select strike force 25 kilometers upstream. While the main camp maintained a loud bluff, this elite group crossed the swollen river, slipping behind enemy lines. When Porus realized he had been bypassed, he sent a smaller detachment led by his son to intercept the landing. But the Greeks quickly overwhelmed them, and Porus's son was killed in the clash. The successful stealth crossing had completely neutralized Porus's geographic advantage, forcing the Indian king to turn his army and fight on open ground. Porus organized his defense with the war elephants in the center, creating a dense front line intended to terrify the Greek horses and block any central charge. This mosaic illustrates the trauma of that initial clash. The elephants caused massive damage, trampling Macedonian soldiers and creating chaos among the panicked Greek horses. This diagram shows Alexander's response. Refusing the center, his fast cavalry swept outward, striking the exposed flanks of the Indian army. This pressure forced the Indian troops inward. As ranks compressed, the formation broke, leaving soldiers unable to maneuver. Environmental factors played a decisive role as well. The continuous monsoon rain had turned the battlefield into deep mud, which rendered the heavy Indian war chariots completely immobile and useless. Even as his army collapsed, Porus fought on from atop his elephant. He remained on the field until he was severely wounded, long after his formation had shattered. By utilizing agile cavalry on the flanks, Alexander's army systematically dismantled a much larger force that was built around a rigid frontal defense. After the battle, when the captured Porus was brought before Alexander, the conqueror asked how he wished to be treated. Porus replied simply, "As a king." Impressed by this resilience, Alexander restored Porus's kingdom and even expanded its borders, turning a defeated rival into a powerful ally. This relief captures the heavy, exhausted posture of the Macedonian soldiers. While they had won the field, the experience of fighting the elephants in the mud had drained their morale. The men had been away from home for a decade. The brutality of the Jhelum, combined with rumors of even larger armies and thousands more elephants further east, created a sense of dread that they could no longer ignore. It led to a historic mutiny. The Macedonian army, which had remained undefeated across 3 continents, officially refused to march any further into India. Alexander had conquered the river and defeated King Porus, but the ferocity of the encounter broke his army's will to continue. The expansion of his empire ended here, at the edge of the Indian subcontinent.